everyone! Kidding, it's going to be uploaded on Thursday if I can manage to do that. But anyway, happy Halloween! As you can see, I'm not in my normal setting. I am in a friend's kitchen. Why, you ask? Because I've been inspired by the last 2 years of Dan and Phil baking. So every single year, or every other year apparently, Dan and Phil do this Halloween baking thing on Amazing Phil's channel. Well, this is an official challenge. I challenge you, Dan and Phil, if you ever decide to watch this, to a bake-off. And so I'm going to make a jack-o'-lantern cake. And not just one that looks like a jack-o'-lantern, one that's shaped like a jack-o'-lantern. What? Oh! But I can't do this myself, so I have my assistant, Cassie! Hello! Alright, so what you're going to need to do first is you're going to need to preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, like we have done. And then you will need 2 bundt pans, but we only have one, so we're going to make 2 cakes at 2 separate times. Yay! Alright, you're going to want to thoroughly grease this with either vegetable oil, safflower oil, peanut oil, sunflower oil, or this spray stuff in a can. Ready? Go. Ah! You actually got me in the face. Oh. As for ingredients, you will need
2 cups of sugar.
And you will also need
1 3/4 cups all-purpose flour.
We'll also be requiring
3/4 cups baking cocoa.
You'll also need a little bit.
3 teaspoons of baking powder.
Now we're supposed to be using a combination of baking powder and baking soda, but we don't have baking soda, so we're going to see what happens. That's how the brownie was made. Oh! Bet you didn't know that, or maybe you did. It's a common fact. The next ingredient is
a teaspoon of salt.
Make sure it's not sea salt. Table salt is good. Kosher salt is maybe. Table salt is better.
A 1/2 cup of vegetable oil.
Alright, and so our recipe calls for tablespoons?
Teaspoon.
Alright, so our recipe calls for 2 teaspoons of vanilla, but we're going to go a little insane and go with a mixture of vanilla, coffee, and chocolate extracts. We're going crazy here. And you'll need
a cup of milk.
And finally, the secret ingredient, a cup of boiling water. Trust me on this one, it makes the best cake. Alright, so what you're going to want to do is put all of the dry ingredients in a bowl and stir it up nicely until you can't tell that they're separate mixtures. Stir it. I might get you covered in baking mix. I might get you covered in cocoa.
Thanks.
It's alright, I already did. You will also require 2 chicken eggs. Alright, now you're going to want to add your eggs, crack them in nicely. Don't mess up. You messed up. And then you can add your milk. Bubble, bubble, toil and trouble. Okay. Then you're going to want to add the vegetable oil. Now in our little bowl we have combined 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla, 1/2 teaspoon of coffee, and 1/4 teaspoon of chocolate extract. And take your cup of boiling water, and that will be the final ingredient. And stir the mother-loving hell out of it. Be careful. Please be careful.
You got it all over me.
Please be careful. I made this shirt.
I met her, and she's one of the
I don't want to boil you alive.
I'll be fine. I once burnt myself on hot coals. Did I cry? No.
I pressed my hand in the oven several times.
I pressed my hand to a fireplace that I thought wasn't real, but it was. It was in my basement, but because you flicked it on with a switch, I thought it was fake. I was 4.
I ran flat on into a mirror when I was 2.
So it's going to be a who's stupider contest. Right, and so what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to pour it into your baking pan.
Just half of it.
Now, being as safe as physically possible, put it in your oven. For 30 to 35 minutes. And while you're doing that, make another batch of batter for when this cake comes out and you can make your next cake. Yeah. And when your timer goes off, without burning yourself, get that cake out of the oven and let it cool completely. Alright, now that the cake has been cooled and turned out onto a plate, prepare your other pan, which is the same pan. And pour your already made batter into this one and then stick it in the oven, do the other thing, and then you got it.
Wait. And it lights up.
Alright, and while you're waiting for your second cake to bake, or while you're waiting for both of the cakes to bake, if you actually are prepared and have two bun pans, now we're going to make fondant. We're going to make a marshmallow fondant, so what you will need is marshmallows. How many do we need, Cassie? Because I only bought one bag.
It's over here. It's just over here.
I only bought one bag. We need
One package.
of 16 ounces. Oops. Oh well.
What have you got?
10.5 ounces. And we need 2 pounds of confectioner's sugar, a quarter cup of butter, which means half a stick.
Oh, well, whatever.
1, 2,
Hey, marshmallows.
Oh, we have more marshmallows.
More marshmallows.
Thank you,
These are from
Mistress
a scale of
Angel.
Tuesdays.
Yeah. Thank you, Angel. Angel from above, off to the side. So you're going to need half a stick, so just chop it in half. You're going to need a quarter cup of water and a teaspoon of vanilla extract. So, let's begin. Now, it says place the butter in a shallow bowl and set aside. So, do we have a shallow bowl? Oh, jeez. I'm gonna be dead. We gonna make me dead tonight.
Okay. We don't have a shallow bowl. We have a little bowl and a deep cereal bowl.
Just a little bowl.
Little bowl.
Sorry the lighting is terrible right now. It's a spooky. I was not apologizing to you. I don't care what you think. Microwave safe bowl. Glass is microwave safe, so is Pyrex. Metal is not. Some plastics are, some plastics are not. Let that be a lesson today.
When in doubt, don't risk it.
When in doubt,
No.
yep. Alright, so we're going to need our marshmallows.
And those are blue lemons.
And then, one more. One's trapped. And the bigger ones.
Oh, these are sticky.
Yep.
You do it.
I do it? Okay.
It's sticky, you do it. I don't want to get messy.
Ignore the sounds in the background from our surrogate mother and dog.
Surrogate?
Did you actually push me out of your vagina?
No.
Yeah.
Okay, I did. I forgot. Yeah. I don't have it. My spiritual vagina.
Alright. So, we have
Does that mean
this.
that my brother doesn't have a mother? This is a C-section. But your definition in actual mother is only if it's
There's this great post on Tumblr where it's like,
you were never born if you were a C-section.
yeah, C-section for the win. So you weren't born. C-section for the win. Happy removal day, tumor baby.
I think I've seen that one.
That's
Actually.
my favorite ever. I always laugh.
Well, they only got a C-section because my mother spent 36 hours in labor with me, and then I was very injured. Twisted leg, yellow skin, covered in bruises, cone head.
Let's take a moment to feel sorry for Cassie and her mother, as well as the nurse and her father, and the nurse's assistant, anyone in the hospital, and the insurance company.
My mother was 5'2", and I was an average sized baby, which was a bit big for my mother. So,
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So, alright, little moment of silence here. Damn, girl! You were a tough baby. Alright, so we are microwaving
She
this.
still is.
Yeah, you live here. Right, microwave on high for a minute. And stab. Alright, you're going to need to stir your marshmallows, so what I recommend is taking some of this little spray shit and putting it on your spatula
Flour.
and rubbing it all around with your clean hands. Alright, so now we have our mushroom fluff, we got our marshmallow fluff, and so what we gotta do is we got to carefully stir in the water and vanilla extract.
How much vanilla?
1 teaspoon. Ooh, it's fizzing. It's just fizzly.
And looked for it. Printer's getting off the
And
bus
then
I
slowly
can
beat
walk
into
and she made no
confectioner's
move to
sugar
get
until you have a sticky dough.
up. I said, excuse
Do you want to
me.
pour it? Or do you want to
Do we
stir?
have a beater? Or
You want to stir
Is
it.
this-
Beating it would
whole thing?
Finally got her to get up.
Yep.
Okay.
I don't know if she got up, right? Is she... I had no
There's a
response.
neater way of doing this. Before.
And sometimes you have to switch hands because sometimes it gets a little
Can I have a
tiring.
call? Get a cigarette. Get another one. I went over to my best friend Rose's house. My best friend's Rose and
That's enough for a first round.
Rose. And Rose lived right near this
So
kid.
slowly,
His parents.
slowly.
Gotta go fast, Emma.
But I didn't
Gotta go
wanna
faster,
drive,
faster, faster, faster,
like,
Sonic X.
near her.
Alright, so at this point, take off any rings that you have and make sure you have clean hands. And then butter your hands. I'll do this part then because Cassie's making a face off camera. And we are going to. Can you actually just help me turn this out?
What? Oh.
Just turn it over. And yes, I washed my hands. Yep. Now this is a sticky, gloopy mess, but we're just going to kind of, keep working it until it's done. How will you be able to tell that's done? It'll firm up a bit. So this is really fucking sticky.
I think so, you know, consider us done. I was heartbroken. I really was. I was crushed. I cried.
Now, if your mixture is too sticky, you can add some more confectioner's sugar. And this will be very dependent on the moisture of the day, and it is starting to snow outside, so it's a little moist here.
Welcome to Minnesota, where you start you start October wearing shorts and you end it.
Wearing a parka.
Yep.
Cassie, I cannot pour with these hands.
Come on, where's your telekinesis?
In my Mary Sue fan fictions. Alright, so we are going to separate just a little bit, and we're going to make that black. And then the rest of this, we're going to make orange. And depending on the day, you might need closer to 3 pounds instead of 2 pounds of confectioner's sugar. So, buy extra. Can you bring out the orange? We have orange food coloring.
A very special, nice orange food coloring.
We're going to add just a teeny tiny itsy bitsy drop of it because it's very potent and can kill people if you use too much. I'm kidding. But it is very potent. Just a little drippy droppy. And that's why I'm not cleaning up my hands yet, because it will stain.
You letting that honestly
It will stain.
how? And like season 2, she had Jen has like a huge flat screen from Susan's house, but the even bigger one is at her friend's house. And she's tiny, but
We'll
she
start-
put it on my back, but now my
start
friend's
small.
using it.
This is the baking workout DVD. And 1, and 2, and 1, and 2, and whew.
Okay.
It's like pulling taffy. This is what your grandparents used to do, people, for fun. Except with taffy.
Did people actually pull taffy for fun?
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah, not just a myth anymore.
Talk about bored.
All right. And now what we are going to do is we are going to roll out the orange, and also our cake is out and cooling. I'm going to get more pan. Perfect. You're going to want to make it a nice thin sheet. Pretty big too, because we're going to be covering the entire cake with just one sheet of fondant. Cross fingers. And also don't try and go back and forth or it'll just make a mess. I think this should be thin enough. It's about the thickness of a quarter. Alright, now, next we gotta make this little thing black. So what you want to do is you want to mix equal parts of red and green, because they're opposite colors, and they'll make black. Hi, Coopins. Guess you want to help me?
What? Oh,
Put in?
knife?
Yeah.
I have a knife.
Cooper's looking myself.
I made more dishes. Okay. It's actually. Yeah,
Cooper's licking my sock.
You probably got powdered sugar.
Oh yeah, I definitely do. Oh, not anymore, because Cooper licked it off.
He's helping.
He's
He's very much helping. Except he can't reach his forehead, so he's got powdered sugar on his forehead.
Okay. Now that we have this, it's time to knead this into a black concoction. It's gray. Close
It's dark green.
enough.
Okay, I'm going to hide it.
Is it?
This should take a lot less time. But you do want to make it wide enough where we can carve 2 eyes, a nose, and a mouth out of it. There we go. Now tidy your kitchen, you sloppy fox. Now, before you put your dishes in the dishwasher or in the sink to wash them, make sure that you lick every single molecule of food off of it. Very important. So now it's time to assemble. Right, so first I'm gonna not give a fuck. And we're going to dump this one that's already upside down onto our final tray. We're going to frost the middle so that way they can stick and zine together in. This is Almond Joy, just because it's what we have. You can use whatever flavor you want. And if your cake decides to fall apart, you can always icing the little ends together. Give someone a special surprise. Yes, because
Everybody likes more frosting.
The only cake recipes I could find that were chocolate had boiling water in them, which is really weird. But it's the boiling water that makes it nice and moist. All right. So now comes the tricky part. We definitely have enough fondant.
That's delicious. Good flavor.
Yeah, that's the question.
Well, it's peeling. It's just peeling. Oh, yeah. Come on, Cake Boss. You know you want me. On your TV show.
Cooper, you're snowy.
Now, the one thing you want to remember about fondant is go slow. I learned this from many.
Which is why Emma's doing it, not me, because I'm kind of impatient.
Many a Food Network. I'm actually going to just like fold this up just a little bit, so that way we can then unfold it. Now we got it. Now we can kind of try to put it on. Oh my god, this is a lot of heavy fondant. Oh, no, that's not centered. There's the center.
Yeah, it's like a paper towel.
It's nothing huge.
And you want to smooth it as you go. And if it didn't roll out quite how you want it to, you can rip some bottom parts off on the places where it's too big. And then, oh wait, I didn't fold it completely. Then you can just patch some stuff up. Then also you can smooth it out with a spatula or a knife. And then you also want to trim the bottom off because, well, otherwise you just got a shit ton of fondant everywhere. And what can you do with this fondant? Make another cake or eat it. Then the last thing you gotta do is you gotta cut out your eyes and your smile. Yeah, if it gets wet, it starts falling apart because it is sugar.
But I don't want to go out there.
Once went on a date with a guy in college who, that's hilarious. Woo!
What?
You're fabulous.
What happened?
That?
Looks
Frankenpumpkin. Pumpkin.
It looks a little bit more like the Oogie Boogie from Nightmare Before Christmas. Alright, so this is our finished product, and as we say, this is an official challenge, so Dan and Phil, you have until next Halloween to outdo us. Might not be that hard. Alright, who wants some cake?
Everybody does.
Yeah! Ooh. Let's cut this cake. Right, so we're going to... Cooper!
Thanks, Cooper.